Hello everyone, good evening. Greetings from Force Racing. Today I'm going to give you a basic introduction on tires. So the things we'll be discussing today are the terminologies involved, tire codes, how to read it and interpret it, types of tires that we have in our world, and the factors affecting the tire performance. So the first thing that we come upon is the terminologies. So consider a diagram of a tire. Okay, so suppose the rim is already installed in it. So this part, the total distance from sidewall to sidewall is known as the section width. This is the rim diameter, as you can see in the figure, and this is the overall diameter. Now, the pattern that you see on a tire is known as treads. So there's a difference between the section width and the tread width. So the area that a tread covers on tire is known as tread width. Now the distance between the top part of the tire and the rim is known as section height. You can compare it like this: section width and the section height. This part. Now the rim width, width of the rim, so no need to explain. So the second thing that we come upon is the tire code over here. So this is the standard code for any tire in ISO metric code. The first thing, A part, it denotes whether it's made for passenger or light trucks or trailers. So it says if it's P, then it means passenger car. If it's LT, then it means light truck. Now the second part, triple S. It denotes the section width of a tire in mm. So we have 295 over here, this means we have a section width of 295 mm. Next is YY. So YY defines the aspect ratio of the section height in percentage of section width. Next is Z. So Z is just going to denote you whether your tire is either a radial or a bias. I'll tell you what are radial and bias tires in front. Now B. B is the diameter of the wheel that our tire is designed to fit. So when we design a wheel assembly, we have to make sure that the tire, the rim we are purchasing fits the wheel assembly. Next is C. So C is the load index and D is the speed rating. So what is load index? Load index is basically you'll be having particular codes on one side of the column and the load it can take on the right side. So you will have to see over this, like for the trucks and heavy duty vehicles, will be having larger amount of load index. D, the speed rating. Similar to load index, it's going to just tell you what is the threshold limit of the speed for a particular tire. Now, radial and bias, as I mentioned over here. So there are two types of tires mainly, radial and bias tire. The main difference between both these tires is the type of belt construction. So in radial tires, we'll be having the belts aligned perpendicular to the center line of a tire. Whereas in bias ply, it runs from bead to bead, that is from the side wall to another side wall at an angle of around 30 to 45 degrees. Here's the belt construction. Now also type of belt. In bias ply tires, we have belts made of fabric like nylon, polyester, whereas in radial, we have steel belts. Area of contact patch. Now there can be multiple layers of belts in a bias ply, which is not the case in radial. So the radial is a bit soft, which generates this kind of curvature over here in radials. So we have more amount of contact patch at the bottom when compared to bias. Next, the lifetime. So I told you that bias ply tires plies in between, and there are multiple layers of it. So it's going to create friction among themselves. It's going to heat up the tire, and the lifetime will go down. Whereas in radial, that's not the case. There's only one layer, and the lifetime is better than the bias when compared. Next is cost. So when cost is considered, the bias ply tires are cheap when compared to radial. Next is the load carrying capacity. So if we consider all these points, one person is going to be thinking about why would somebody consider bias tires. So the reason behind it, the load carrying capacity of bias tires are more than radial. Mostly they are used in bikes, so that for touring bikes, when people have to carry some load and they have to go longer distances, they use the bias. After this, we come to the factors affecting the tire performance. So the major factors that affect the tire performance are pressure and temperature. So let's consider the first case when pressure is increasing. When we are inflating a tire, the carapace will get stiffer. What's a carapace? It's just the whole construction of a tire beneath the tire compound that you can see from the outside. So just imagine when you are inflating a tire, it will get more stiffer. And the spring rate. The spring rate is suppose I'm applying a load of 1000 pounds on a tire, and the deflection in the radius of a tire is 1 inch. So we'll say the spring rate it's 1000 pounds per inch. As we increase the pressure, the spring rate is going to go high as well as the canvas stiffness. And the second case, when we decrease the pressure, the footprint size is going to increase actually. So see this diagram, I'm deflating the air out and this bottom part is going to go flat. So the amount of contact power that we have at the bottom will be high when pressure is decreased. Now other part is pressure on the side wall. So when I'm decreasing the pressure, the side wall is going to go flex out. So we'll be having more amount of tension over here, which will at some point rupture the side plies. The third point is rolling resistance. So imagine a tire like this, and you try to move it, you provide some amount of force to it, and the resistance force, which is the front part, which is trying to resist the movement of the tire, would be high, just because we have a very less amount of air inflated. So this is all for tires. Nextly, we move into temperature. The factor that affects the tire is the temperature. So how does it affect the tire? Firstly, if you increase the temperature of a tire, it's going to increase the modulus of elasticity. That is, the tread is going to become more elastic when you heat it. And thus, the force producing capabilities of a tire would increase because distortion is more, and so the more grip will be created at the bottom. That's a contact factor. So before student formula racing, it's what we do here. We keep generally the temperature between 180 to 220 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's how temperature affect, and I would be talking about how cable affects the temperature and other alignments, but firstly we'll be discussing about all those alignments in the next class. So that's almost all for today. Other than that, I want to discuss two or more points. That's aquaplaning, and how many of you would have wondered why is the color of a tire black. So you'll be surprised to know that the first tire was white in color actually, but since then there was some improvements that we made. That's because of carbon black, the actual compound, which gives the rubber a black color, and that's because it improves the wear characteristics and other such parameters that we need for the tire to have. So that's as far as carbon. Other than we also vulcanize the rubber, so that's one more reason why the color of a tire is black. Other than that, aquaplaning here. So it's talking about treads here, tread width. So why do we keep treads on tires? Suppose you have a bike and you are riding on a wet surface. So you want to have some grip, some amount of grip so that your bike doesn't skid. So that is why we have treads over here. So when water comes on the bottom, it just passes on through the grooves and goes back. If we have slick tires or plain tires, then that's not going to happen, and the coefficient of friction is going to decrease. So this is the reason why treads are given and what is actually.